quitting alcohol can be one of the biggest life-changing decisions that you make. But I can also tell you that it might be a little bit overhyped, depending on who you are, the kind of drinker that you are, and the lifestyle that you live. So in this video today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a super quick story. I'm going to tell you how I was able to quit alcohol for a solid 7 months straight. I'm going to talk about how and why I got back into drinking again. And then lastly, I'll finish off with the frequency that I drink now. So kind of coming to the, the balance in my lessons learned from not drinking, and then the lessons learned from starting to drink again. Now, I can confidently say that in the last 12 months, I have had drinks maybe 5 times maximum, maybe 6, maybe 7, but not much at all, not much at all. One of them was a terrible story I probably shouldn't, that maybe really think about. Basically, to cut a long story short, I ended up in a club with my boss while being quite intoxicated. So I didn't enjoy that experience, and the unfortunate thing is I took off a long time from alcohol, 7 months straight. So let me tell you the story of how this all came about and where this journey started. So there's a guy, his name's James Swanwick. You may have seen him online. He's blowing up at the moment on TikTok and Instagram. I always see his stories and his shorts, his reels, and his TikToks reshared. He talks on how to quit alcohol. So I met him years ago when he was in Sydney for a conference that he was hosting. And funnily enough, fast forward a couple of years later, him and I are doing a road trip between Virginia to Ohio. So we had about a 6 to 8 hour drive together. And what ended up happening, so he's a big advocate of not drinking alcohol and the benefits that come in your life when you don't drink. And what ended up happening is I was with someone else on this road trip, so another guy called Adam, myself, and James. And the other Adam asked James, he's like, so James, how come you decided to quit drinking? What brought you to quit drinking? And he tells his story. He decided one day he was going to take 30 days off, and then he continues, he experiences all these benefits and decides that he's going to continue not drinking, extending his 30-day alcohol-free challenge, so to speak. And then he talks about all these positive things that happened in his life. So for example, he became an ESPN sports news anchor, whatever else happened. He started these multi-million-dollar businesses, etc., etc. So he had all these massive benefits that came from quitting alcohol, right? His body, he got into shape, his skin became better, his relationships got better, all these things. Plus he wasn't waking up, on a Sunday morning with a hangover, so he was able to maximize his day. He wasn't making bad decisions, eating junk food at nighttime. So all these benefits came to him by not drinking, right? And so at the end of this drive, he probably spoke about, the decision to quit alcohol for about 2 hours. He's quite passionate and really believes in it a lot. And, throughout his whole talk, while we're talking in the car, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is cool, but I don't think I'm giving it up. It was at a time where, I had just started travel, so I was probably, maybe like 2 months in, still really fresh, and I was really enjoying going out on, maybe one night during the week and maybe a Friday or Saturday night, and just having a few drinks. It wasn't anything excessive and out of hand, and I was like, I'm traveling to all these new countries, I'm meeting all these new people, I don't really think it's feasible or viable, or I don't actually want to do it, right? I don't want to actually quit. But fortunately or unfortunately, the other guy that I was with, the other Adam, he was saying, all right, well, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to stop drinking, right? I'm going to take some time off. So I was like, you know what? I will take some time off alcohol as well. So what happens? We end up in New York City a couple of days later. And what happened in New York City is I was meeting a good friend of mine that I met in Sweden a couple of years back. And where did we meet? Of course, we met at a bar, right? It's New York City. We met at a bar, a rooftop bar, very cool place. Great views of the city. We could see the Empire State Building. It was really a cool place, right? And obviously everyone around us was drinking, and my mate or my friend that met me there, he went in and ordered a drink, and he's like to me, what do you want? Now in that moment I had a decision. I could either not drink or I could drink, right? And of course, there's a lot of pressure to drink when you're in an environment like that where everyone around you is drinking and your friends at the bar being like, yo, what do you want? This first round's on me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to drink tonight. I'm just going to have a water, right? So pretty low key, I had a water that night. And it was hard saying no that night, but I had it in my mind. You know what? I'm going to take a short break, 30 days or whatever it was, you know? And then a couple nights later, where are we? We're at a bar again. And once again, you know, I want to drink. There's the societal pressure and peer pressure to drink. But I decide I'm not going to drink, right? You know, take off drinking tonight again. And this happened a few times. And each time it became a little bit easier to say no. And then it became a bit easier and easier and easier. Until the point where I was probably 4 or 5 months in, like it was like almost a given that I wasn't going to be drinking, right? People weren't even offering me drinks when I was going out. I kind of got into the rhythm and routine of going out to bars and pubs and not drinking. I knew how to say no. I knew how to still, you know, fit in the environment. Not that I needed to fit in it at all, but you know, I knew what to order at the bar. I knew how. I started to develop my skills, social skills, to have a good time without drinking. So a lot of positive benefits came from this, and I kind of was like, I'm not really going to get back into drinking, right? And you know, for many months I didn't drink, and I loved it. I was waking up without a hangover, feeling fresh. But you know, the interesting thing that happened is I lost the desire to drink. But that all changed when I was in Thailand. I was staying in a hostel for the full moon party in Koh Phangan. Koh Phangan full moon party is one of the biggest party times of the year. Now, at that time, I was really, you know, I remember being in this environment where there was a lot of alcohol around me. Everyone's partying. Tell you a funny story. I booked tickets to this party that was happening that night. So it was the night before the full moon party. There was this big, it was called the jungle party. There was a big jungle party. Essentially what happens is, you know, you get in these minivans, they drive you out like an hour into kind of the bush or the forest, and there's a big party in the jungle. It's kind of crazy. It's actually insane. And with the ticket that I purchased, it came with a ticket to the event. It came with taxi ride there, not back, funnily enough. I heard a lot of horror stories of people having trouble getting back. And it also came with one other thing. The other thing it came with was a bucket. Now in Thailand, when you get a bucket, it's typically, you know, quite a lot of spirits, and then it's going to be a mixer with the spirits. So either like Coca-Cola, or it's going to be Red Bull, or whatever it is. Common is vodka Red Bull. That's a very common bucket flavor over there. So it came with one of these buckets. Now I went to the bar, again, I'm not drinking. So I'm ordering this bucket that was complimentary, right, with my ticket price. And I'm like to the bartender, I'm like, can I get just soda water, maybe some lime. And he's like, what? I'm like, just soda water. He's like, what alcohol do you want in it? What spirit? I'm like, no alcohol, just soda water. He's like, what? You want what? I'm like, soda water, just soda water, no alcohol. He's like, what? And we went back and forth 5 or 6 times, literally. He like couldn't understand that I wasn't ordering alcohol. And I kind of looked around and everyone around me was drinking alcohol. I was pretty much staying at a party hostel, right? And I felt very socially awkward. I was very much inside my head. I was struggling to connect with others. And I'm messaging a friend. I'm messaging the Adam that was in the car. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I should drink or not. Like, I want to drink. Like, you know, I just feel like I've run this experiment. Like, what are the benefits of not drinking at this stage? Like, I've not drank for 7+ months. Like, is it really that bad if I drink 1 or 2 nights? And of course, I kind of convinced myself to drink that night. Now, I didn't go overboard. I didn't get blackout drunk or anything like that. I probably had, 4 beers throughout the whole night. Of course, I hadn't drank in 7 months, so 4 beers definitely had an impact on me. But I had a great night. Like, to be honest, I wish I didn't, but I had a freaking amazing night, right? It was one of the greatest nights of my year of 2023. And then the following night was the full moon party. This is the main event, right? Super fun night. Had a really great time. And again, the previous night I was a bit more in my head because I was like, should I really be giving up my 7-month streak of not drinking? But this time I was like, I've already given up the streak. I'm just going to drink another night. So what do? I drink another night. And I had a great time again, like a really great time. Like those 2 nights were some of my best nights that I've had. I met some great friends. Actually, the other day, yesterday in Sydney, 2 guys that I met at that hostel that were staying in my room there that I drank with and partied with, I met up with them here again in Sydney. So it was nice to meet them. And then another guy that was in our room, this English bloke, he's actually in Dubai. I'm heading off to Dubai in 2 days' time. So I messaged him, being like, yo, I'm coming. So my point is, I had a great time that weekend, drank 2 nights in a row after not drinking at all. And then I left that hostel a night early. I'd had enough. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I booked a flight to Bangkok. So I left early, even though I had paid for the accommodation. I decided I want to get out of there and get out of that party scene. And then from there, I didn't have this like strict rules around drinking or not drinking, but the reality is I actually just didn't want to drink throughout the year after having all these experiences of not drinking. And, and then I did drink a handful of times. Interestingly enough, most times that I did drink, I ended up regretting it because it didn't enhance my night and it made me feel shit the next day, right? So for example, one of my best friends, Jason, he moved to the Netherlands. It was his birthday party. He had a bit of a birthday bash in the Netherlands. And I ended up drinking for that. Again, didn't even really get drunk. I might have had like 4 beers. And did I need to do it? No. Do I regret it? I mean, I didn't regret it, but if I was to do that night over again, I wouldn't drink again, right? I wouldn't do that. So now I'm a lot more mindful of when I do drink, put a lot more thought into it. And even when I put thought in, most of the time I do regret not drinking. So moving into the next stage of how do you actually, if you want to give this a go for yourself, how do you actually not drink? Well, I kind of alluded to it before. The beginning is a little bit challenging. The beginning is a little bit hard. But once you've said no a few times, you'll start to just ease into it. It becomes a lot easier. So my recommendation to you is when you go out, you can tell your friends if they ask, you can just be like, oh yeah, I'm not drinking tonight, just taking it easy. And if you just do it in a casual approach like that, people aren't really going to judge you. They might put a bit of pressure like, oh, come on, have a drink. And just be like, nah, I don't think so. Not tonight. Maybe next time. That's something I say a lot. Maybe next time. Maybe another time. But I don't think so tonight. I'm not really feeling it. But, I'm going to have a good time. I'm looking forward to having a good time. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is order a drink. So you have a drink in your hand. Whether you order a water. I like ordering a sparkling water with a bit of lime in it. That's a great drink. Or you could do, if you like a vodka Coke, drink a Coke. Or another great alternative, which you'll find almost everywhere, is non-alcoholic beer. I love having a non-alcoholic beer. I've had quite a few of them when I go out to a pub or a bar, right? And I'm around a drinking environment. You drink a non-alcoholic beer, most people don't even know it's a non-alcoholic beer. And you can enjoy it as well. So that's my second tip when it comes to not drinking. And my third tip is just give it a try for at least 30 days. And you'll start to see the benefits in your life. And they're not even going to be massive benefits, but you're going to just start to realize you don't need to drink alcohol. You can have fun without it. And also you'll realize how much better your days are the next day after drinking. And the reality is, if you realize you need to have alcohol to have fun, then you kind of need to question that. Like, why do I need to have alcohol to have fun? Why can't I have fun without alcohol, right? And then you can start to develop your sober personality, I like to call it, right? You got your drunk personality and your sober personality. When you're out in a bar or a club, you're developing either your sober personality or your drunk personality. And so then moving to the third topic that I wanted to talk about tonight, or today, or on this call, or whatever time it is you're watching, the question of what do I do now in terms of alcohol when drinking? So what I do right now is I have no strict rules. If I want to drink, I drink. If I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink. The reality is 99% of the time, I don't drink and I don't want to drink. I don't have that desire. In fact, I almost don't even want to be in those environments like the clubs and the bars anymore. I will do it. I will go out to a bar. The other day I went on a date with this girl. We went to a bar and I ordered a non-alcoholic beer. It was just like such not a big deal. I didn't really want to drink. I didn't need to drink. So I'm not going to have a black and white mentality where I'm not drinking at all, or I am only drinking, right? Every time I go out, I'm kind of just taking it a day-at-a-time approach. If I want to drink, I'll drink. If I don't want to drink, I won't drink. The reality is most times I don't want to drink because of, now it's been over 12 months that I've kind of been developing this habit of not drinking. Again, over the last 12 months, I might have drank 5 or 6 times. Some other nights I've had a glass of wine here and there. But, when I say drink, I mean like more than 1 glass a night kind of thing. So I definitely proceed with caution around alcohol. I just don't even want to do it. So question to you is, should you take some time off drinking? Should you do what I did? Maybe take 30 days off and see how you feel? Well, I'm not going to tell you either way, right? It's up to you what you want to do. But I hope my story has given you some insight into the possibilities out there. It's definitely possible for you to quit drinking and stop drinking. And there's a lot of trends heading towards not drinking. So if you like this topic, hit a like on the video. If you have some questions about not drinking, or any thoughts or any counter arguments to not drinking or pro drinking, whatever it is, let me know in the comments. And as always, we've got some really cool videos coming out tomorrow, so you're going to want to hit subscribe so you don't miss those videos coming up. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.